I'm so sorry, everyone. One arse.
Just how do you make it about you? How do we do that?
It's on a timer. We haven't spoken about me in a long time. Ring.
Welcome everybody, and we're back for another Outside Crowd podcast, and we're joined tonight. We've got Billy.
Hello.
We got Ryan.
Yo!
And we're also joined by Joe Walker from Treadgold Design. Hello, Joe.
Cooey, hello.
Hi. Thanks very much for coming along. And Joe's a garden designer who's come into the profession, I would respectfully say, a little later in life.
Mind how you go.
So I'll word it very carefully. But no, it'd be good to hear a little bit about your story, how you got into everything. So let's start at the beginning and sort of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got into garden design.
Yeah, well, it's a long story. I'll try and not keep you all evening. But so long time ago, 20 years ago, my partner bought a house with a veg garden in it, and it had an asparagus bed. And I thought, don't know much about anything, but I know asparagus takes quite a long time to establish. I looked it up, and it all started with an asparagus bed. Suddenly started planting seeds and things. I got sent on a gardening course by my partner, which was brilliant. A girl called Jane Gillespie, if I can give her a shout out, Jane Gillespie in Goudhurst, absolutely brilliant. And just got bitten by the bug, really. Then I sort of decided that arse-up gardening, as we call it, was, my knees are going a bit, my back's going a bit, and I thought, what about garden design? So I did a course in COVID and set up a business, basically, and thought, right, now what do I do?
Right.
I've got to get some clients. I was keeping a couple of other jobs on the go as well, bin those now.
Right.
All guns blazing.
Because there's lots of things that flow from that. Thinking, like you say, you did your design course. So were you sort of artistic or design, orientated when you were at school? Did you do art?
I did actually.
Yeah.
I did art O-level as it was then, all those years ago.
Yeah, nice.
But I just, I could sketch a bit. I quite liked it. My dad was quite good on that sort of stuff. But not until... I did this course and I suddenly remembered I could write an essay. I quite enjoyed the whole process of learning, actually, which I hadn't ever done at school.
Yeah.
So it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So, I suddenly realised I could draw a bit and,
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it, when you sort of go back to education, I don't say later in life, but after you've left school, sometimes you're going back for different reasons, aren't you? And you're doing it because you actually... doing something that you want to enjoy, and you're doing it for the love of it rather than being forced into it.
Absolutely.
When you're at school.
So forget your maths and your physics.
Yeah.
This was something I was enjoying, found interesting, and I kind of realised there was a lot of stuff. I realised, without sounding too big-headed, there was more about gardening. I knew more about gardening than I thought I did.
Right. Yes.
I have a great friend who I actually garden with, and she's brilliant. She's a lifetime of knowledge imparted to me over the last 10 years, and I suddenly thought, I do know stuff. Yes. Felt a bit more confident with myself, getting good grades in your little exams. It's like, oh my God, that's never happened to me all these years. And I really enjoyed the process.
Yes.
And now I have this business. And now I have to start enjoying the... It's very different. Doing something you love is one thing.
Yes.
Starting up a business, learning the pitfalls, getting bookkeepers, keeping receipts, knowing what you can charge, can't... suddenly it all becomes... You're doing maybe slightly less of what you really enjoy and doing a lot more of the...
I was going to ask you, once you finished the course, was it the goal then to open a business, or did you just do the course just for the enjoyment of it? Or was it with a view to actually starting your own business?
I think probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did think if I could move... So what was happening with clients is you go along and you garden for them at whatever quid an hour, And they'd say, "Oh, Dad, we've got a bed down there. What should we do with it? And if we were having a new terrace done, how could we do?" So you end up giving sort of design advice for diddly squat per hour.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, if I get qualified and set up a business, I could just do the advising and maybe, I mean, that sounds awful, doesn't it? A bit grabby, but I'm very happy to help people. But
Well, that's it. It comes at a cost.
But I thought, well, if I can do this, then
You might as well get paid for it, yeah.
why not do it as a job?
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Plus, I like it.
I think that's the important thing, isn't it? If you're doing something you like, and then you're, transitioning that into a business. I mean, that's probably everyone's ultimate goal, apart from them finding the realities of what running a business is
straight
like.
in the face. Well, find a job you love, you never work a day again. Someone told me. I'm still looking.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely.
So how did you find the bit actually sort of setting up a business and starting that? How did you find that? Did you have advice, or did you just sort of like set up a limited company, or however you done it? Did you just?
I'm a sole trader
Right.
still at the moment.
Yeah.
I started with my logo, and I bought a van,
Hey.
That's how you
great.
start.
That's
good.
good. Yeah, that's it.
That's the best
which
steps.
is my sort of shed on wheels.
Yeah.
So it's got all my rubbish in it.
Yeah.
I don't need a garden shed. I've got my van. She's called my Vanwy. She does have a name.
Oh, very nice.
Your Vanwy. That is great. It's awesome.
And so I bought a van, got my name stuck on the side.
Did you design your logo?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, I've got 3 logos actually because I couldn't decide which one I like best. So I
love them all.
I love them all. So I've also got a dog called Norma. So she features quite a lot. She's on the website.
Right.
She's a very important part of my life. Sad old woman that I am.
Oh, not at all. I've got a dog called Louis. He's on our website. He's with me every day.
But you
What
are a
breed?
sad
What
old
breed is
woman.
it? Sticks with you.
He's absolutely the only one.
Brilliant. So how did you go about once you got your business and you've got your van and everything? You've got to start getting clients. How did that sort of develop? Was it through word of mouth or
a lot of word of mouth?
Yeah.
And then I sort of designed my own website, which is either a good or a bad thing. But I was quite pleased I'd done it. I got a website, and people were finding me and emailing me through the website, which was really satisfying.
All that work.
God, this
all
is
that
great.
work.
It works. One of the I honestly don't know how I got clients. They kind of people just found me, or people would say, "Oh God, go and use Jo. She's just setting up this business," and so it was a bit word of mouth. But it has, because I've been so busy juggling so many balls. I can't say I'm really, really busy at the moment, which is why I've decided to sort of bin everything else and concentrate on it.
So do you do any garden maintenance still, or is it
Yeah.
all just yeah?
Yeah. Keeps the wolf going from the door.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. There's loads of work out there for that as well, isn't there?
Well, exactly. So I figured that at the end of the day, I can always pick up gardening, basically.
For sure.
That sounds a bit...
No, you're right though. You're right. It's always handy. You can always fall back on that.
Yeah. So if you've got, once you're sort of starting, you say you're looking for clients in that, and clients get you in, what's your design philosophy? Do you have a design philosophy, or are you just fairly sort of spontaneous in how you go about your design? I know nothing about design processes. So
well, I tell you what's interesting is you can do every course going, and they'll teach you, and they'll say, Mrs. Jones lives by the sea, and she wants a garden. She doesn't want to hear the noise from the school next door, and they give you very, very specific boundaries.
Yeah.
And so you go, all right, so I need to do the seaside theme, or I need to put a big hedge up there to block the noise from the school, or whatever it is. When you actually go to people's gardens, you think, oh God, this is not like the tests I've done. This is not like the things I've done on my course.
Yeah.
So every garden, obviously, is completely different, and you have to go into it with completely fresh eyes. And also, what I've discovered is people like things that I don't like.
Yes.
And you think, don't do that. And then they say, but I want to do that. And you go, well, it's your garden. They've got to live with it. They've got to look at it every day.
That's it. That's
whatever they want.
That's same as we do as landscaping.
So sometimes you're giving people things that you wouldn't necessarily do.
Yes.
Not to my taste. I would do it differently. But they like it, and that's fine. So
So how do you start with it then? Do they come to you and do you come with like a sort of like a they say, oh, you know, just overhaul this garden, and you give them some schematics, that type of thing? Is it how does the process work?
So very rarely does someone say, can you rip all my garden out and start again? So usually there's quite a lot of, I just want to change this bed, just want to change the border, or I want to make it more interesting. In which case it's okay, I'll do your plant plan. Sometimes they don't even want a drawing. I can just give them a list of plants. I'm doing one at the moment, literally giving this guy a list of plants, and then I'll go along and plant them. I'll buy them for him and plant them. So that's very easy. Bigger things, you
It's on silent. I don't understand why I was doing that. Sorry.
I don't think it is on silent.
Do you know what I don't? I think it's just.
I think
hello,
it's
I'm
just
important.
incompetence.
Look at that. It's on
Hello, I'm
silent.
important.
I'll turn it off. I'm so sorry, everyone. One arse.
Just how do you make it about you? How do you do that?
It's on a timer. We haven't spoken about me in a long time. Ring.
Yes. Sorry, Joe.
Sorry.
What was the question?
What was it, Bill?
I think we were talking about me.
Talking about like the design process and the design. Yeah.
Yes, well, the design process is usually first and foremost. Well, obviously you look round and then you just get them to tell you what they like, what they don't like, how they want it. Then there's lighting involved, and they suddenly go, "Oh, I hadn't thought about lighting."
Yeah.
And then there's, we could terrace that. We could. It really is a case of finding out what they like. And just talking to them, and talking to people, and they get, and they'll go, oh, actually, do we like that? Do we like that, darling? No, I don't think we do. Right, okay, we don't want that. And then, quite often through the whole process, so then you might sit down and make an initial sketch, and then you talk to them again.
Yeah.
Usually when you talk to people again, they might have changed their ideas a bit, they might have thought of something else. Or, oh God, we didn't think about, somewhere for a trampoline for the whatever, or a paddling pond for the grandchildren, or whatever it is. Or suddenly actually we decided we want water, we don't want water, we want a water feature, whatever it is. The plans constantly change as you're doing it. So eventually, the end of the process, you have a plan. Yeah. And then
what they like is I like the it's what they don't like and what they like. That's as simple as it is, isn't it?
It really is.
I allow my material to tell us what we want to do. So instead of people say, oh, how far are we going to come out from the building? I said, well, first of all, let's think about what we like, what slabs we'd like, and then from there we can then end on a full slab, and then that material allows us to say, right, we're going to come off this pathway, and we're going to have 600 by 900 pathway, and it means that we're going to be 450 off the wall, which is perfect for a planted bed, and then we can decide what we're going to be able to put into that 450 gap. So it's allowing the material.
Well, that's the other thing, because the garden may dictate what you can and can't have.
That's very true. Yeah,
if you've got a big slope, you're not going to pave that, are you? You're going to,
no, we could do what we like. Build a snowman if you wanted.
But do you know what I mean?
I know
or you
mean.
could say,
no,
well, we
right,
have to build that up, chuck that out, whatever.
Yeah,
so the terrain of the garden will obviously, and if you've got a massive tree with a TPO on it that you can't take down, even though you really like to, you kind of have to work around that. So you've always got to work around what you've got.
Yeah,
but
always going to be constrained.
And that's part of the design process, I guess. It's
Yeah.
just talking about it, deciding, and sometimes trying to get people to cut a tree down or whatever. She says, I'm making a face there because I know it's not a great thing. But sometimes...
Get them all down.
Yeah, chop them down.
Give me a call.
Do you have to... Because often, say with designers, the first thing I always think, like coming from like business perspective, is like, how much is it going to cost?
Well,
do you have to? Do people come to you knowing that they want a designer and accepting that they're going to have to pay for that, or do they come to you and sort of, I don't know, have an idea of how much that designer is going to cost?
Well, it's the first question people ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what's it going to cost?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
what do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah.
So it's, and that is the hardest question to answer. I don't know what it's going to cost you till we know what you're going to have.
Yeah.
So that, but obviously I charge for, I've sort of set charges for designs and
for different
whatever. But,
do you design like the hard landscaping part as well, or is it just soft landscaping at the moment? Or
no, I'll do it. Anything you like.
Oh wow.
Anything you like.
So you can be looking at designing ponds and then
Yeah.
landscape. Oh, wicked.
It may be that then guys like you come along going, well, you can't do that, Joe. And I go, but it looks great.
Yeah.
It's got to be like that. This is how we want it. You've got to be joking.
that's
It's
how-
going to flood. It's going to this. It's going to that.
Put it
No,
in and shout out.
That's our job. That's our job to make it look like the drawing. That's
Yeah.
it. It's got to look like the drawing. So we work very hard to, because that's the so much work has gone into that design, and the relationship with a landscaping company and designers should be very, very tight for me. So going in and going, oh, this is not going to work, that's not going to work, isn't going to help. So me coming up with solutions is better. It's me saying, well, okay.
Or me saying, all right then, if that's going to be really tricky and make it really expensive, then we'll just do something else.
Yeah.
But we can.
It's always a conversation.
So and in fact, most garden designers I've spoken to have had, and you won't like this, but they're kind of pet landscaper.
Yeah.
So there'll always be one or two people that they
Use.
Yeah,
work,
that's right.
work with all the time.
Yeah.
I'm working on that. That's another thing I'm sort of trying to find.
But I think that's reasonable, isn't it? Because I suppose designers, they want the reassurance of people that they know. Because if they're recommending them to their clients, to have someone that they have confidence in, and you do find that people work closely as a team. But
but also that communication thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? So if I bring a project to you and you saying, and then we have a relationship that you can say, Joe, that's not going to work.
Yeah, barking the wrong tree there.
Yeah, and I can go, oh, right, okay, we'll change it. Or I'll go, actually, that's what I want, and you'll go, okay.
Well, that's it.
We'll have to.
Yeah, but it's always
And
a
I think
conversation.
that's really,
And I think
really
I think it's very that's very important. And I always go back to how long it's taken for you to find all that information. I've said it before about the husband coming out in his full suit and says I want it contemporary, and then the wife coming out in yellow wellies on with a big flowery top going, right, I want this. It's like, right. So
Something in the middle.
so there's a lot of time being spent on that. So if the client has agreed with that, it's for us to work out how can we get that done. How can we do this within the budget and work towards the drawing that's been put in place. So I think that working with designers as well, I think you use the word pet landscapes for designers. I think I know a few designers that we're working with at the moment, and they do have one or two that they know. Like JB said, they've got to be able to walk away, or once that design is in process, know that the guys are going to do it, or the teams are going to do it 100% to satisfaction and quality. But I also think some landscapers suit different clients as well. So I think there's definite room there for if there was a project where we do all projects, mind you, but
quick shout out, quick shout out. No job too small.
That's it.
Or too large.
But that's it. So but there is that from a designer's perspective, understanding that they're going to see a client go, do you know what, they're going to get really really well with Ryan, or landscape, or do you know what? So there is
I think some certain contractors will blend well with different people and different relationships, and I think that it's like essentially you become a team, don't you? Because like say with the designer and the contractor, they've got to work effectively together, and they've got to work well with the client, because if client's got a team that he dislikes, it's going to make it more and more difficult.
Interestingly, I don't think I've ever just handed over a plan to a contractor and gone, there you go, boys, thanks very much, see you. I would always go back and say, how are you getting on, lads?
I'd
just like a trip out.
What's
Just go out and say, hi, how are you getting on?
I want that as well. I had a designer come up to me today on the project. We started a project. We're back on the project. Sorry, we started a wee while ago, but we've come back to the project to continue it. And I met the designer this morning, and I said, "Oh, I didn't know you were coming today." And bless him, he took it as, "Oh, I'm not here to badge you." I said, "I'm delighted you're here." I was about to, because I said, "This is your design." I said, "I'd be annoyed if you weren't here. You can come as many times as you want." It's.
But do you feel you could phone up the person who's designing and go, "Listen, we've got a bit of a
absolutely,
bit of an issue here. Can you come and?"
Well, we've got a bit. I see a bit of an issue here. Here's my 3 solutions. What do you think? That's that wouldn't ring him up just saying there's a problem. But it's,
I mean, that's often how it works, isn't it? I mean, especially on things like construction projects. Usually get the architects will come out with the the nice sort of concept, but when the design detailing needs to be done, that's when the contractor comes into his element, because they just know how how the details are actually going to be carried out. So it's
Or it's...
Well, the reality can be very different.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say. Is when you're like,
Nice,
shall I
pretty
follow?
drawing.
Shall I follow this drawing? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're doing the neighbours at this point. It's like I'm going to take this in a bit. All right. Yeah. Do that, please. Yeah. No problem. That's right. I'm just saying.
So how do you find running the business? I suppose, how much time do you spend running the business as compared to working in the business? Yeah.
I was fine. I find that I was. Hopefully, this is now going to change because I'm a bit freer with my time. I found that I was basically running the business every evening.
Right.
So coming home from a day gardening,
Yeah.
or whatever else I was doing, and then thinking, right, okay, I've got to update my website. I've got to send some invoices. I've got to pay that. I've got to order. Got new T-shirts now with my name on it. I'm really excited
very
about
expensive,
that.
very
That's
fancy.
good. So I've got to sort that out. And and the annoying thing about that is you send an email in the evening, you won't get the reply till the following evening,
Yes.
and then you make because I don't know about you guys, but if I'm literally arse up in a rose bed, I can't be sending and receiving emails
Yeah,
and taking
I know that
calls
one.
from people,
No.
and because your client,
Yeah,
your
busy.
client's paying you to work in the garden.
Yeah.
So that's if I'm doing gardening. But obviously, if you're wandering around saying
here's
to
a
a
bit
bunch
of
of
it.
chaps, "Would you mind awfully just legs and patio there?" Then that's fine. But
I'll get there. I'll let you know when I get. I'll let you know. Not there yet.
But,
But I'll tell you a little trick that I do. We wear ear defenders when we're using noisy machines, and if you have your ear defenders on, nice pair, and put the phone behind your ear, you're able to work as well as speak. So I do that. I do that all the time.
I've seen you driving like that.
I said,
and I'm
no,
like,
you
what
have
the
not.
hell is wrong with this guy?
It's hands free.
Get hands free.
Oh, that is hands free. Ear defender on.
Like it was the winter and you had a beanie on with the hat over and then the phone underneath.
Listen, I'm a busy man. I've got shit to do.
Yeah.
But it's real handy being up because I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. The clients are paying you to be there. And not only that, sometimes you can be setting up something. So if there's no thought process in it, as it's like, right, I need to take these tools over there that I need for later. I can have a 3-minute conversation to make sure the material's on its way, and I can be doing that. So yeah.
Well, I've got I have my AirPods in if I'm listening to podcasts actually most of the time. So call comes in, you can take it. But I just it's that generally running my business has always been done in the
In the evening.
evenings.
Yes. That's
And then that's a long working day, isn't it?
It is.
I've been
It
8
is.
hours in the garden. I come home and I
And you're on the computer,
Do
and then
stuff.
if your body's tired, your brain's dead as well. It's hard, isn't it?
and then the
definitely.
rosé kicks in, and then it's just all over, isn't it? After that.
Can I ask you a question?
You can.
So,
If I can answer it.
what I always find interesting about designers is where do you get your inspiration from when you're like with all your designs? Do you think? Are you looking around?
Constantly looking at stuff.
Do you go to open gardens? And
I
stuff?
go to open garden. In fact, I was in the dentist yesterday. I cracked a tooth on holiday. Went to the dentist. There was an open gardens magazine in the dentist. I just picked one up, took it back, and I've been having a look through that. I actually do a day's work at Pashley Manor at the moment, which is great. That's such good fun. It's such a fantastic garden. Anyone who wants to go to Pashley, it's brilliant. I look in magazines. I look in books. I go to gardens. If I see something I like, I mean, it was terribly funny. One of the girls I used to work with, she was showing me she's dating. She's showing me all these photographs of these men that she was trying to sort of, I don't know, Tinder, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then she said, we were looking at the photographs on my phone, and it was just trees. And
That's on my phone.
Yeah, that's it.
I was just like, mine's not quite as exciting as
You probably
yours.
get a better conversation with the trees.
Hang on a minute.
It was quite funny, yeah. So just endlessly. I went to Great Dixter the other day. I saw this lovely Nicotiana. Hadn't seen it before. Take a picture, look it up. That's going in my garden.
Yeah.
And I like what they did with it. So, I mean, does one ever have an original idea? I suppose you do, but I just take all the things I love and I put them in. And then this is what I was saying, slightly frustrating when people go, no, I don't like that. And you think, how can you not like that? That's
You
just
mad?
so nice.
Yeah.
So, and then you have to think, oh, God, I've got to think of something else.
Yeah,
What am I
well, it's the same as if we're doing, reduction work on trees. and we're obviously always trying to make it look like we haven't been there quite a lot of the time, you know, and we're doing what's best for the tree. But then they'll be like, "No, we just want you to, you know, cut it in half," and we're like,
This is not. I'm the professional.
"Yeah." But I can imagine it's very frustrating. Yeah.
So do you have a style of design that you like? Is it, you know, sort of like when you see some of these classical gardens with the long straight lines and, you know, beds, or do you have any sort of things that you like personally as your taste?
I quite like that. Well, I call it the wafty look.
Nice.
I quite like. I like neat and tidy.
Yeah.
But I like it. Okay, so no, what I like is neat. I like chaos contained.
Like
Chaos
cottage garden.
contained.
Does that?
Cottage
so yeah,
garden, yeah.
I'm probably quite
That sounds like a nice tagline, doesn't it?
chaos contained.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great,
so
yeah.
I like a bit of chaos in bed. I like
Yes.
all the colours. I have a fear of yellow for some reason. I don't know why. Spring colours. So for me, I'd keep it very pastely shades. That's
Yeah.
my sort of thing. Gowras, wafty sort of stuff, verbenas. That's all great. But I like structure in it as well.
Yeah.
Because I think all gardens need a good bones. I call it the good bones.
Yeah.
So in the winter, you've still got something to look at, and it can still
Yeah.
be nice. But then in the summer, all
Let's
goes
go.
mad.
Let's go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then
Very nice.
Because I think that's the thing that always gets me with, like we say, I'm inspired by with sort of garden designers is like the planting side, because just seeing all these different plants coming out at different times of the year,
Yes.
you just think, that's bloody clever. I'm clueless with plants. I mean,
It's so knowledgeable as well. Like it's
Yeah.
the knowledge that goes behind it.
goes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it goes unrecognised as much. You know, it does. What you need to do to really get the garden to where it needs to be, and like you said, with the colours going through. There's a lot of knowledge behind that. That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
well, thank you.
you see my flower beds, they probably might get something up in the middle of summer and that's it. But
You take them
no.
stinging nettles to Chelsea.
Well, you laugh. A couple of years ago, Chelsea was quite weedy.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Right.
things are changing.
yeah.
Do you have are there any sort of like, do you have a preferred type of client that you like to work for? You know, sort of size of garden, or is it literally anything?
Sometimes the best clients are the ones who know absolutely nothing, because a little bit of information can be quite dangerous. You know, a
Yes.
little bit of knowledge can be
Yes.
quite dangerous. And then but then you don't want the client who, well, you wouldn't get the client who knows a great deal
Yeah.
and takes a huge amount of pride in their garden and loves it and does it, because they're going to have, it's going to be how they want it, I think.
Yes.
But most of the people, I guess, I speak to don't. Sometimes they don't really know what they want. They
Yes.
just want it to look nice. Sometimes they'll say, "Now, I went to Sissinghurst the other day, and I really like the way they did that.
Yeah.
Can we do that?" Or went to my friend's house, so take some photographs. This is what she had. It looks really nice. Can you do the same?
Yeah.
I can't. So that's
So
more. That's more. So yes, not knowledgeable about the plants, but knowing what they want is kind of knowing they want this style or that. That's yeah.
So this guy I've been helping in Tysers is absolutely knew what he wanted.
Right.
So I was a bit kind of, what do you really need me,
what
do
do you
you?
need me for?
Bless
Yeah.
you. He'd done little drawings and he got it all, it was fine. It was all done. But he didn't know what to plant.
Right.
And I've been acting slightly in a sort of consultancy way to him, because he's like, oh, should I get... And then he went to some garden, he took a photograph of this thing and he went, do I need this? And I'm like, yeah, you need that. Let's get that.
Yeah.
So it's quite sweet. I'm
just guiding him.
just guiding him
gently,
along,
yeah.
and then
push him
and then
down.
we'll
Yeah,
do the
that's nice.
planting, and I'll
Yeah.
help him with all of that, because that's what he doesn't know. So he's
Yes.
got quite an artistic eye,
Right.
and he knows what he wants. He knows how
Yeah.
he wants the garden to look. But he doesn't know how to sort of finish it off
Yes.
with planting. So
I think it's
So he's
interesting you
cute,
saying
so-
that, with your answer there, because I think you've said something like that before, Ryan. You like clients when they don't really know what they want, and then you can guide them a lot better, rather than someone thinking, you know, making your life more difficult because you're trying to fight against things which might not practically work.
That's right. It's the I guess the idea of someone saying, you know, I know I want a patio here. I know I want a patio, but I can't choose my stone. I don't know why I need this stone. I picked this one up, and they're looking at me. I'm like, okay. And they're like, but I don't know why I want this one.
Do I want that one?
Does it? Well, yeah, and that's
Do I want
it.
that one?
And
Yeah.
you kind of, you know, I had one client. We went to Corkers, lovely place, to have a look at some slabs, and went to there, and he was overwhelmed, absolutely overwhelmed, and went, right, we've got 3 areas to pave. We're going to choose this slab, that slab, that slab. And I just went, okay, you done? He went, yeah. I went, we're choosing 1 slab. You're going to have 1. And he was like, yeah. I was like, yes, just because. That's all. But I didn't go into it. I just went, you done? Yeah, cool. Right, chose 1. You know, and that was it. Just because I know that's not going to work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work. And you know, so now we've got the same slabs. We've got different size slabs and different areas at different sizes. That's perfect, but not 3 different coloured slabs.
No.
So it is just that guidance. And like you say, it's like, oh bless you, but no, that's not. You know, and if you wanted all different coloured slabs, I'm happy to put it in. But you're not confident. You didn't turn up to me going, I want 3 different kinds of slabs because I want them to match this, match that. That's fine. You know, you've just gone, these are all great. Should we use all of them? I'm like, no.
At the same time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, layer them. Yeah. So that's it. So it's having someone who goes, do you know what? I want a patio here. I want a pathway here, and I want it to, you know, sneak around there. And it's that guidance of, for example, on Monday I went to see a client about a project just to mark it out and have a look and run through it, and was a winding pathway down a straight bit of garden, and we want to break it up with different flower beds and hedges, and there was a decking on the right hand side, and she wanted the pathway to curve to the left. And I said, well, it just seems like this area we're leaving on its own. You know, what's inviting you there? And she said, well, I want the pathway to go this way. I said, that's fine, but I feel that we should put little 450 slabs, stepping stones. I said, because the path goes that way, but you'll step on that path and you'll go, what's that? And you'll look at the stepping stone because it'll invite you in.
Yeah.
And she just absolutely went, oh my God, that's exactly what I want. You know, and that's, so it's just, it's nice when it works.
It's great. It's
Yeah,
great. And
yeah.
when you say something, people go, God,
Yep.
that's great. That's just what I want.
Yep.
They didn't kind of realise it. So there's quite a lot of it is guiding, I think,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes,
Like I said, you can't make anyone have something that they don't want. You
No.
can say, this is a beautiful design. Look at my pretty pictures. Isn't it great? And they go, yeah, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
You go, well, you've got to have that. That's what I've done. You obviously don't say that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I think that's all part of the conversation I was
Yeah.
sort of talking about earlier. You know, the more you talk to people about stuff, the more, and then you show them pictures. I do a mood board. I say, these are the kind of things you like. And they go, well, yeah, I like that one. I don't like that one. You go, okay, so we'll take the whatever out. And so mood boards, sketches, chat to people.
And change it, like you said, it is funny doing this. It changes all the time. That's what's really interesting. It does change. I kind of initially if I go into a garden to quote a project, I'll go in. I think we don't know our decisions yet. I just take a step back and let the conversation roll, and I let people roll, and then people start talking, and they start standing in the areas. I'm like, why are you standing at these places? I'm like, you want something there. When we go to Corkers, and it's like, I don't know what slabs to choose, and the whole lot, every one of their family is all standing on one slab, and you're all it's like, why are you standing there? It's like, I don't know what to pick. I'm like, yeah, but why are you all standing there? You know, it's like,
I think you just
Subliminal
picked
look
it.
down, yeah, you know,
just
and it's like, this is really nice. Like, you're all standing on it. Like, it makes sense, you know. It's kind of just not pointing the obvious out, but sometimes like, that makes sense. Let's go with this. Let's go with this.
So how's it going since you've actually transitioned then essentially into a like full-time business? Is it going well? Is it exciting?
It's only really just happened,
Right.
to be honest. And I've got this lovely friend who's helping me with sort of marketing of it. She's been absolutely brilliant. And since just redoing my website, it sort of pings up the list now. So I've updated my website, and it is suddenly 2 clients ring me up,
lovely.
email me, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then I panic.
Like we all do.
And then I panic and think, oh God, I can't do this. Oh, I'm so busy, I can't do it. And then you just crack on, don't you?
That's it. Yeah, I always find that's the exciting bit. Once you actually get, a job comes in, it's like brilliant, and then it's the panic starts. How do we deal with this?
Yeah.
How do we do it? all the
And I
practical
always
things.
look at everybody else and I think, God, you must know exactly what you're doing. You
No,
know exactly
this is
what
what
you're
this
doing.
podcast is about. This is what this podcast is about. I must say, myself and Bill were sitting here, and we had Jake sitting here, and I remember we did the first couple of podcasts, and I was sitting there staring at the wall thinking, God, I've got so much to do. This happened, and I think Jake was saying something, and I leant forward and I looked at him, I thought, are you going through the same thing I'm going through? Then he started talking, and I just went, "Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat.
Everyone's in the
and
same
it
boat,
is.
yeah.
So please don't worry about it. It's the best thing I've ever learned is don't look at anybody else because no one has a bloody clue what they're talking about. So just do the best job you can for
Fake
you.
it till you make it.
Well, that's
100%. You
That's-
must fake it until you make it.
Well,
That's
that's-
what I do.
But come on, tree surgeon. You can't. I mean, there's you.
Oh,
you
what?
learn
Fake
your-
the tree work?
No, no, well, no.
We've done it.
cropping it.
Well, he said you didn't like doing much to the trees.
Sit around, drink tea all day, and go. There you go. It's done.
Actually,
No,
do you
but
know each other?
that's not the sort of thing you can kind of fake your. Was gonna use a bad word, but
What,
you can't-
the actual skills to do
Yeah,
it?
you just have to know it, do it, understand it, and get on with
I
it.
think.
I mean,
I think so. I mean, like, a lot of the times we'd be looking at YouTube videos and how to do things sometimes, or better way to do things. And, like, right at the start, sometimes it was like, this is too big for us, we can't do it, or whatever. But fundamentally, it's a really skilled and dangerous job, and then kind of, if you don't know what you're doing, you can't undertake the work.
Yeah.
And that's what's, that's what shot me in the foot before, being like, actually, this is out of our skill range. I mean, but now, like, we've, established, we can do pretty much everything, which is nice. It's a nice place to be. But yeah, it takes ages like this. But what the struggle is the business thing.
That's
I mean,
the
that's
thing,
why we
it's
have
not-
JB. It's
not
like
the- yeah.
me and Ryan, we're very good at what our trades are. We know exactly what we're doing. But we studied. I mean, I studied. Horticulture and arboriculture.
You went to YT.
That's what I studied. I did.
YT?
What's that?
YouTube.
Oh, I didn't study business,
No.
So for me, that is where I feel out of depth. It's not the tree work. It's I feel
That's
out
it.
of my depth running a business because like we have people working for us and we have to organise things and it's a nightmare. And then like. And JB starts throwing cash flow and plan the actuals
really
into the mix.
timesheets and spreadsheets.
And then that is, fair play. We're getting into the mix of it now, and it feels like we're organised, and I understand those things now. But when you started throwing out those acronyms and showing me spreadsheets,
That's it.
I lost all my hair. Like, it's tricky, and that's where I think a lot of my learning.
He turns around.
Comes in.
He turns around. CR, and I'm like, never been. Yeah, that's it.
But
That's
no, I
different.
think it's I suppose we're getting towards the end of our time here, but it's you've mentioned your website a few times. So a couple of things. Obviously, what's your web address so
Okay.
people can get in touch with you?
That's easy. I can answer that.
Yep.
It's treadgoldgardendesign.co.uk.
So treadgoldgardendesign.co.uk.
Yeah.
And what sort of catchment area are you looking at? You cover, cause where are you based? You're in
I'm in Ticehurst.
You're in Ticehurst.
The metropolis of Ticehurst.
right. Yeah, lovely place to be.
I've worked in Staffordshire,
Yeah,
worked in London,
yeah.
so I'll go.
So you can cover most
anywhere.
regions, so if people
Yeah,
get in
yeah.
touch with you, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's good, and it's all looking very positive for the future.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm very determined to throw my all into it and really try and make it work.
That's brilliant. No, I mean we wish you all the success. I mean it's great
certainly
hearing
do.
someone actually starting up and developing a business in
Even
such
at
an
my
exciting
age,
area.
even at my age.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's something else, if we haven't really touched on, you because I'll come into it a little bit later, but it's brilliant, and it shows that people can change careers at any age. I mean, I got rid of my company when I was past 50, and I've sort of got into this business support and some work at the gym, so I had a complete career change. So it's like,
It's good though, isn't
never
it?
give up on your dreams,
It's
isn't
good
it?
though. I mean, it's like having a hobby. You don't have to just do one thing. You can
No.
be interested in lots of things.
Yeah.
And if
That's it.
if those interests take you to working and doing something you enjoy, well, I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
No.
I'm not I've worked in all sorts of things. I've done all sorts of different stuff, and at this point in my life I'm doing this because I
yeah.
really, really like it.
No, I think
And
that's
hopefully I
brilliant.
can-
It's like
really
everything
cool.
used to be so structured before when I was younger. You were in this career until you retired, but now it's like people can be so much more flexible
It's nice.
and change and go into different careers. So no, I think it's brilliant.
Thank
But
you. Yeah.
no, thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you very much,
Joe,
Mum.
for
It's
your
been
time.
a joy to meet you all.
No.
I loved every minute of it.
That's been
Thank
really
you for
good.
coming.
So, we're wrapping it up for this episode of The Outside Crowd. And so it's thank you from Joe.
Thanks very much.
Thanks from Ryan,
Cheers, guys.
Billy.
Thanks.
And here's the next episode of The Outside Crowd.